Hello, guys, and welcome to another wonderful episode of E3 Conversation from your friends at Xbox Enthusiast. My name is Jamie, and I am joined by Chris and Steve once again. And today we're going to talk about our top 5 games of E3 2016. So, are you guys ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm outside.
That's it's good to know.
You're welcome.
With this, it's not just the three of us that put this list together. It was the entire Xbox Enthusiast team, and there were multiple calculations that went into this. So we're actually going to go through our top 5 here, and then maybe afterwards we'll talk about what we think should have made the list, in our own opinion. So let's kick things off with number 5. Number 5 is Mass Effect Andromeda from EA. Now, I am super hyped for that game. It was also on my list. It wasn't my top choice, but it was also on my list because Mass Effect, at least the original trilogy, was just probably my favorite story of last generation. It's awesome. I cannot wait to get my hands on this new game. But what about you, Chris? Are you excited? Are you pumped? Do you want more Garrus love in your life?
Yeah, so like I'm not a big fan of Mass Effect 1.
What?
Yeah, I mean it was.
Steve, are you excited for?
Look, I know that Mass Effect 1 is lost on me. It's much more to the RPG roots that people of that genre really like. I really preferred kind of stepping up the action in Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 was one of my favorite games of the 360 generation. Not a huge fan of the way it ended in Mass Effect 3, but I still love Mass Effect 3. I thought it was a great game. Super pumped for just the idea of getting back in the world. Just a new galaxy, new characters. I posted the news story. We have the reveal of the ship called the Tempest. So it looks like a much bigger ship. So it should be a lot of fun. Just to kind of explore and discover. But Mass Effect for me has always been really at its core a character about stories, a story about characters, which. A little backwards there, which is what makes it stand out. I think about things that we like on TV. Right now there's a lot of love for things like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, and those are shows that just focus on character development. And for me, that's exactly what Mass Effect 2 was in video game form. It was all about meeting these different races and these different people and getting them to join you, and just that character building, which I love. So seeing it go in a new direction with a new set of rules, new set of characters, super pumped for it.
Cool. And Steve, what about you?
Well, I'm far more into shooters than RPGs, but I do have to say I absolutely loved Mass Effect 1. I wasn't, like I said, I'm not really into RPGs, but I just think the way that game handled it, particularly with the branching dialogue and everything like that, it just worked really well, and I loved the sci-fi setting. There were some pretty major technical issues with that game. The texture pop-up was horrendous, and the loading times with the lifts were just pretty awful. But if I've heard that they're supposed to be going back to a more kind of discovery-based system, like in the first game, where you were constantly going around in the Mako trying to find things, and that just really excites me. That kind of exactly what I want in a Mass Effect game.
Sure, and in number 2, they kind of shrunk it down and just kind of scanned planets, which kind of took away some of the exploration, which I didn't like. I agree. I liked exploring the planets. That was awesome.
I would agree with that. I think that exploration, I think, is the key. They talk about the story, and the story really is us finding where humanity is going to go next. I mean, that's the whole for what they're saying. The whole crux of the story is discovery, is looking for that next land. So hopefully that stays true to what they're doing, and we get a game that is about exploration. I think about, there's always the argument between Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans, and I actually like both of the series, but I like the practicality of Star Trek and the fact that that's what we we were. I mean, we were explorers in this country. I mean, and so it's like it's the same thing. It's this idea of going to wherever where our next destination is, and that's an interesting concept, and hopefully they they stick with it pretty good.
Sure. Now, quick question before we move on to our number 4. Did you have a male or female shepherd, and what was their name? Chris, go.
I had a male shepherd. I named Jack Shepherd because I was addicted to Lost.
Steve, what about you?
I played through every single game twice. I had a male character that I went through the game first with the male character called John Shepherd, who I did like every positive decision, and then I went through again with the female character called Jane Shepherd, and was as evil as I could possibly be. I mean, any chance I would kill people, like every negative decision I could take, I took, just because I wanted to see as the game progressed what the differences actually added up to. Do you know what I mean? So all the way from 1 to 2 to 3, I had the male character making every single positive choice, like it was like Paragon or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And just trying to be like this ultra good person, and then I just got completely evil with the woman character.
Very nice, very nice. So now, do you do that because you think all women are evil? Is that?
No, not at all. Just I started the game with a male character, and I wanted to. I quite like doing the good things in these kind of games, so I did that first, and I thought I'll try and shake it up a bit. And it's like, right, I'll do the opposite this time. I'll be female and I'll be evil. So yeah.
That's always more fun. That evil playthrough is always more fun.
Now, weren't John and Jane like the standard names for those characters?
Yeah, I didn't bother changing it at all. Sorry.
That's boring.
Do you do that? Do you do that normally?
No.
Do you normally go default?
No, I'd normally change it to my name just because I'm sad like that. I'd normally put Steve and then whatever character, and then. It kind of depends. Like in like football games or whatever, I'll like add my friends in and then deliberately hack them down. But yeah.
We're learning new stuff from Steve today.
So true story. My freshman year in college, we spent a lot of time on the N64 with WWF. I don't think I had changed at that point, so I think it was WWF No Mercy, and we literally created.
Don't give those pandas any mercy at all. Those pandas deserve to die.
But this wrestling game, we literally created every single guy in the guy's dorm room and most of the faculty, and we would have like Saturday night Royal Rumbles, and we would just beat the crap out of the teachers. It was morbid now that I think about it, but we had a ton of fun.
Well, to get back on Mass Effect real quick, for me, I played as a female shepherd, played through on Paragon, played through the good side, and named her Agnes. Agnes Shepherd.
Agnes Shepherd. All right.
See, the reason for that, when Mass Effect, when I first played Mass Effect, I think Mass Effect 2 was when I first started playing it. It was right when Despicable Me came out. And the littlest girl in Despicable Me was Agnes. So that's where it came from. So I had Agnes Shepherd all the way through.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, you played good or bad?
Paragon, good, all the way, man.
Paragon, all right.
Yep, absolutely. But, okay, guys, to jump into our number 4, we have We Happy Few.
Try and play that as a Paragon.
Now, this is a really interesting game. A lot of people are comparing it to BioShock. In this game, there's going to be 3 different character scenarios you can play through. But every time you play it, it is a randomly generated world. So it's different every time you play it. They said the main campaign will take between 5 and 7 hours each time you do it for each character. So, I mean, what do you guys think of this We Happy Few? For me, I think it looks really cool. I'm really into horror games. I really enjoyed BioShock, so I think it's going to be a really good game.
Okay, I'm really not into horror games just because I don't see the point. In my free time, I just want to blow shit up and have some fun. And like horror games aren't really that. However, this game looks amazing. The whole atmosphere looks really cool. I enjoyed BioShock, and this does have that kind of vibe. So yeah, this is one of my 5, and I really looking forward to it.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and I think for this game, the only way we could get Chris to play it is if he took the little joy pills that are in the game.
Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll come with some. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the scary games. We talked about this before. I actually didn't finish BioShock for that reason. It's just the eerie feeling when I'm walking around, and it just kind of makes me feel uneasy, and I just prefer not to play. However, that being said, I'm super intrigued by We Have a Few, but mainly from a story perspective. So what they showed on stage is the idea that they're giving these people happy pills, which Jamie referenced, and they're doing things that are in their mind are normal, fun, happy type things, but then we see in the trailer, and of course the example in the trailer was they're all smacking a piñata, but your character doesn't take his happy pill, so he's kind of almost kind of flashing in between happy world and like the real world, and when he kind of zones into what's really happening, it's not a piñata full of candy, it's like a giant rat right on the table, and they're all eating its flesh, and it's just super creepy and super gross. But I like the concept of this dystopian sort of rule where they're basically convincing these people that their life is great. So I think the game is going to have a lot to say, kind of a good social commentary. So I'm actually really excited about playing it. If I can make it through it or not is a different story.
It's good to see a game that's unlike anything. It's not particularly like anything else. Do you know what I mean?
True.
It's a very unique idea, and this whole system of the world being different every time. If they can pull that off to the point where you do just want to play it again and again and again, it could be a really exciting prospect.
I agree
Sure.
with that.
Now, this game, they said the beta is coming out at the end of July, like a preview program.
It's not. Yeah, I was gonna say it's preview program. It's not
Right.
like an actual beta. So yeah.
Right. And they said the full game is supposed to come out early 2017. So they said pretty much with this preview program, it's only going to feature the one character that we saw during the E3 trailer. But once the full game releases, it's going to add the additional characters along the way.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the preview program? Have you played any of the games that are in it?
I
haven't. No, I haven't either. I'm intrigued to try Solus and Ark, but I was on the cusp of purchasing Ark, and I just heard so many server issues with it and whatever that I just didn't get around to it. And now I haven't really got the time to play it at the moment because it's this kind of game you need to really sink hours into, from what I've heard.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So here's the thing. I've played every game that's on the preview program. You have Subnautica, Solus, The Longest Dark.
The Long Dark, yeah.
The Long Dark. There's the Prison Architect game. And then there's Ark, the dinosaur game. So I've played every one of them. I'm actually not a big fan of the preview program, and here's why. It does kind of act like a glorified demo, but the demo is kind of broken, and more times than not, it's almost made me not interested in going back in and playing the game because of the way that. I asked this. I didn't know if you guys are on in the camp of, hey, I really like having the preview and then being able to play the game. So with that being said, like when I think about We Happy Few, I almost don't want to play the preview. I kind of want to just give me a game. We're getting more and more in the video game space where we're getting half-built games, and they label it, preview, so they can test it out and see what people think about it and make the changes they need to make. But I just want somebody to give me a product and let me sit down and experience, the vision that the creators have from start to finish. And so I actually don't know. As excited as I am to try it, I don't know that I'm gonna jump in when it's on preview for that reason.
To be fair, though, it is a reduced cost that you pay to play on the preview program, and then you get the full game once it's released. It's not like you're being asked to pay your 40 quid, $60, whatever, for the full price game, and then you still have to put up with all the bugs and glitches that it comes with. They are at a reduced cost.
No, and I agree, and I'm not saying that it's not even a money issue for me. It's just more. It's more of like I don't want to get like I don't want the content. Like We Happy Few seems like a game that, if it is what would you say 6 to 8 hours, something like that. If it is, I mean, I kind of want to sit and play that over a weekend without any sort of known bugs or alpha quality graphics or engine. And then if there's other characters, just jump in and play. Like it's just a game like that. I think should just be experienced the way that it's supposed to be experienced. It's just me. I just didn't know if you guys had messed around with the preview program. Like, I mean, it's great for people that want to to have that experience. In my experience, it's almost kind of turned me off from the idea of having previews. So I may just wait till that game's just out and then jump in.
And I think you should actually man up and not spend 6 to 8 hours over a weekend. You can do that in a day. Come on.
No, I can't. Do I need to remind you how many kids I have? No, I can't.
Oh, boy. It kind of reminds me of, well, first of all, Chris, I agree with you. Normally I'll get into betas and preview programs, and I'll play a little bit of it. And I'm like, okay, I've had a taste of it. I know what it is. I know if I'm going to buy it or not. I'm done. I don't like to play a lot in there because I agree. I don't want to play a broken game. It kind of reminds me of when you see a movie trailer where it tells you the entire movie from start to finish, and then you finally see the final product. I feel it might spoil the experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I guess that's what I mean. Yeah.
Sure. And so I honestly, for that, I'm super excited for that game, but I might wait as well till the final version is released.
Yeah. But let's be honest. As soon as that comes on the preview program, our fellow enthusiast, Mr. Gonzalez, is going to be on that like a hot potato, whether it's a good game or not. And
sure.
Although you won't be able to call him full price Andrew there because it'll actually be a reduced cost. But I'm sure he will buy that the second it comes out, and he'll tell us what it's like.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
With that, we're going to go out of one indie game and into another really small game some people may have heard of. Our number 3, Gears of War 4.
that little indie darling that no one saw coming. Yeah, that
was Now, and with that, I mean, Gears is my favorite Xbox exclusive series, always has been. I know that it's people seem to fall in the Halo camp or the Gears camp. I've always liked Gears a little bit more, that third-person cover shooter. I really like that a lot. And from what I've seen from Gears of War 4, this year it wasn't really a trailer. It was like a full gameplay demo. It looked exactly like what I was expecting, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was also in my top 5, and I love Halo and I love Gears. I probably love Halo more, but I'm better at Gears. I actually did a bit of competitive gaming on Gears of War 2, so I've got a bit of history with that. But the game looks phenomenal. It looks really, really nice. My one question about it are the enemies, because at the moment the enemies that we saw in that demo were just like slightly reskinned locusts. There wasn't anything really new. It was just, instead of the locusts, they're the swarm, and their skin looked slightly more pink than grey, but they looked pretty much like the locusts did,
Sure. Now, Chris, what about you? I mean, are you excited for Gears 4?
Yeah, so I'm the guy.
Playing the multiplayer beta at all?
No. See, I'm the guy. We've had this conversation a couple times now. I'm the guy who hasn't played Gears before. So.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So.
The letdown of the group. I totally forgot.
So, yeah.
He'd suck at it anyway.
So I played.
It's too scary for him.
Look. I played a little bit of the first game. Whenever I had to walk, and if I got out in the shadows, these little black dots would kill me. Is this what happened in the first game?
Yeah, sure. Right.
The krill.
Yeah, and that completely tick me off, so I turned the game off. And then I played a little bit of the multiplayer beta when Ultimate Edition came out last year, right? That was the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I played a little bit of that beta, but I don't like multiplayer games, so that really didn't do it for me. So yeah, look, the game.
So your reason for not liking it is you suck at it. That's the truth.
I mean, I don't remember them telling me I couldn't go into the shadows.
Yes, they do.
You learn as you play.
There's a whole thing about it.
Anyway, look, the game looks phenomenal, and I said this when we did our press conference recap. I watched it with my 10-year-old daughter, the press conference, and after the whole show, after I talked about Recoil the whole time, and after the show, I'm like,
Daddy, why did you show me that? I'm gonna have nightmares.
I'm like, what was your favorite game that they showed? And she said Gears of War 4, and I'm like, I don't even know you. So look, it looks great. I'm sure it's going to be great. I have all 4 of the game. There's 4, right? Because there's the Judgment, which was like a prequel. Yeah. Okay, so I have all 4 360 games on backwards compatible. So I may have to just suck it up and play them. But
you have all 4 and you don't even play them. What are we going to do with him?
Well, obviously he's going to have to do it on easy anyway. So
true.
That's true.
I mean, actually, on that difficulty, you can just kind of stumble your way through, can't you?
I would say on Judgment, play multiple people online, and each person can select their own difficulty setting. So if you want to play on like baby mode, while we play on the harder difficulty, you can.
Yeah.
And baby still die more than us.
Baby mode is actually my favorite mode in any game. So.
Okay. Well, we know Chris just said he hates multiplayer games. However, our number 2 game, he is super excited for.
Yes.
And that
I am super excited for it.
Is Sea of Thieves. Now, if you hate multiplayer, why are you so excited for Sea of Thieves?
Okay, so first off, they have went on record to say that you can play this game completely by yourself. You'll have a little rowboat, and you could just row around the world and explore islands by yourself.
I've got brilliant visions. I've got brilliant visions of the Enthusiast team, like on this big boat, just shooting along, and then there's Chris in his rowboat.
Wait for me, guys. I want to play too. So
he's already the saddest pirate I know. He's got the beard for it.
I don't have any friends. That's right. See, I'm there. No, so I love Rare. I mean, I was raised. We just talked about the N64 earlier. Like, I love Banjo-Kazooie 2 or Banjo-Tooie. I love Jet Force Gemini. As bad as that game was, I love
Jet Force Gemini. It's a good game.
Yeah, Blast Corps. For the N64. Like, I love Rare. So I have the utmost. Fate that Rare is going to deliver a great, fun experience. The other part is now, being part of the Xbox Enthusiast team, I feel like, we'll be able to have some swashbuckling adventures, which will be fun. What tends to be the problem is as a father, and a working person, it's hard to coordinate with a bunch of people. Like, it used to be easier when you didn't have responsibility, but, now it's like, oh, I got to wait till the kids are in bed, or, oh, I have to do this, or whatever. So it's a lot harder to coordinate time in order to make, multiplayer efforts. I actually still, hang out with people that have, 2 or 3 nights a week that they dedicate 3 hours of game time, and I'm just like, there's no way I can do that in my life right now. So it isn't necessarily that I hate multiplayer. I know I say that just kind of in jest. It's just that it's really hard to kind of coordinate. For a game like Sea of Thieves, I'm 100% on board. Hopefully we can get some fun nights that we can all jump in together and just have a good time. The game just looks phenomenal. I was watching a video, and you could just pull out an instrument and start playing. So the video I saw online of a couple people doing the demo is like they're getting their ships getting the holes blasted in it. The water is like rising, and 2 of the guys just decided to play their instruments like it was the Titanic going down. And it's just like they're not even helping; they're just sitting there playing, and that's how the game goes. So I just think that there's a lot of fun to be had there. I'm totally pumped for Rare kind of getting back to what they do great.
Cool. Now, Steve, do you have interest in Sea of Thieves?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm also a huge Rare fan. I'm kind of proud that they're British, but it'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see them getting back to what. It's as though they've kind of got their groove back. It's as though this is the game that they wanted to make. No more of this Connect stuff. No more trying to force anything into anything. It's like they've gone to Phil Spencer and said, we want to make this game, and they've said yes. And hopefully that's what we're going to get. I think the interesting thing is we have no idea when it's going to come out. It's clearly not going to be this year. Is it going to be next year? Could it even be 2018? Who knows? But what I've seen so far, I will happily put my money down day one on that.
Absolutely,
yeah,
that game looks like an absolute blast.
Yeah, I think a lot of the
can force Chris to walk the plank, I'm all for it.
Yeah, but sharks, man, like, dude, as soon as we were watching the press conference together, and as soon as they walked off the plank and there were sharks, I freaked out on the chat. I had this whole thing about sharks in games. I'm not digging that. But
you want to be in a rowboat all by yourself rowing while sharks are attacking.
Sharks all around. But I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay.
He's gonna be like the one pirate who's still on the island that you start off on, isn't he? Like if everyone else goes off and discovers the whole world, Chris is just there on the beach waving everyone off because there's sharks ahead.
Look, so back on the release date though is they did they really seemed last year to kind of hint at the idea of the game coming out or at least being playable in some beta form this summer. I mean, the game seems like a summer game. I wouldn't be surprised if you may see this feel like the April, like the Quantum Break slot next year. I just think, swashbuckling, open seas, it feels like a summer game, to me. So there's a possibility that it may fill that gap because as of right now, we don't really have a first-party game announced. I feel like Scalebound will be their fall push, so hopefully we'll get it before too long. But you know what? At this point, just take your time, give me an amazing experience, and I'll be happy.
A game this big, though, is surely going to have a beta. Now, if the game was going to be coming out Q1 or even early Q2 next year, they would have announced a beta would arrive sometime at the end of the year or something. I would be surprised if it's released that early. I think we're looking at either Christmas next year or possibly even later.
Okay,
Sure.
I think we'll definitely hear some more at Gamescom. I mean, like you said, Rare is from your neck of the woods, so we tend to see a lot more of those developers show off their stuff at Gamescom. So maybe in a couple of months when Gamescom comes out, we may hear about the beta, maybe even get an official release date. So we'll see. I mean, the game looks pretty far along. The fact that they were able to throw 5 people in, and if you guys know, I don't know if you read how the demos were set up, but the demos were set up where you would play on a team of 5. You had like a rare guy as part of your team of 4 to kind of help you out. There were 5 players, and what you didn't realize is everybody that was playing through the demo at the same time, eventually the rare people led them all to the middle of this ocean area where they're all playing the same game. And so then it just turned into like a huge battle, which was a really cool way to showcase what the game can do. And so I feel like it's pretty far along. So hopefully it's not 2018. But again, Rare's taking this long to give us a great game. Let's just make sure it's great, and then let them give it to us.
Honestly, maybe it'll be a good game for next summer, like summer 2017. I don't see them going past 2017. I think the game will release in 2017.
As long as I get to see Chris freaking out about the sharks, I'm happy.
I can see him in his rowboat.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get like a GoPro headset so I can record myself while I'm playing. It's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much on Chris's boat, we know he won't have the skull and crossbones flag. He'll just have a white flag up automatically all the time. He'll be ready for surrender. That's a waving white flag.
Or like a no shark sign, like
no sharks. Yeah.
A shark with like in a red circle with a line through it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Like the Ghostbusters logo. Yeah.
If we could can we make our own flags? If we could, that would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be
okay,
great.
guys. before we get into our number one game, to kind of let our listeners kind of wait in anticipation, we all know what our number one game is. So before we get into that, what game so far that we haven't talked about do you think should have been on the list?
Forza Horizon 3.
Okay, Steve, and why?
Because I love racing games. The Forza games are the best racing games around, and this one looks amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what's so special about this one compared to the other Forza games? What pushes this over the line for you?
Okay, 4-player co-op sounds like it could be an absolute hoot because I have friends, unlike Chris. Also,
that's low.
The Australia setting seems really cool because you do have cities, you've got beaches, you've got the outback, you've got kind of tropical areas. It could be really, really cool. It's got more cars, that you're starting with more cars than the game's ever had before. The weather system is no doubt improved. The night cycle is no doubt improved. And tie that up to the best physics engine for racing games around, and it's going to be stunning.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Horizons 3. Now, unlike Steve, I'm not a huge racing game fan overall. I don't typically play the prime Forza games, but I've always loved the Horizon series just because for me it feels a little more laid back. And
they're easier to play. They're easier to play.
Yeah.
It's suck.
Yeah, that's true. Look, hashtag Chris is not good at video games. That's fine. You can try that. Listen, no, but seriously though, for me, I like the idea of just loading up Forza Horizons 2, jumping in a car, tuning the radio to something I want to listen to, and just driving. The game is gorgeous. It feels great, and it's just a lot of fun. And I love the they call them drivatars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool to see just kind of your friends, pass by you and be able to kind of challenge them, whether they're online or not, just kind of challenge their time, at a race or a time trial. And it's just a relaxing, fun way to experience a racing game. Right now, the Games for Gold is giving away The Crew, which is kind of similar in the way that it's kind of an open world. And I downloaded it. I played it for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and then I just cried because it wasn't Forza Horizons 3. So yeah, I can't wait. Horizons 3 is going to be fantastic.
Well, Chris, what about you? What game do you wish was on this list? Do you think deserves to be on this top 5?
So I have a lot. I want to mention.
Get one.
Well, you can't mute me. So I want to mention Telltale's Batman, which looks amazing. But if I had to pick a game that I think should be on the list, it should be Inside. And unfortunately we didn't get a lot from the press conference as far as further details about the game. It was really just kind of a quick trailer. But they capped the trailer off by saying, and the game's going to be out on June, I believe it's 29th, so just a couple of weeks from now. And that's a game, so it's from Playdead. They're the team who brought us Limbo, and they've been working on Inside since Limbo shipped, and Limbo was just a fantastic game. Steve makes fun of me because I like walking simulators, and and Limbo has some puzzle elements to it, but it's really just kind of telling a story as you walk from left to right, and it looks like that's kind of what Inside is as well. Limbo,
Chris, because I must say that game kind of has some horror elements in it. I mean, there's a lot of death and a lot of darkness and monsters and things like that.
Spiders.
Yes, exactly. Giant spiders.
It did. No, I mean
no sharks. No sharks.
No, there were no sharks. That's right. Yeah, I mean some of the scenes of when you had to jump on dead bodies to get across the water. I mean that there's some really morbid stuff in there, but the music was just brilliant, and just kind of the art design as far as with the black and white aesthetic. It was a great expression, really an artistic expression, and I had a lot. I don't want to say I had a lot of fun with it, but I super enjoyed it, and this looks to be taking kind of the same formula, the same walk from left to right formula, but it's completely different. There's color, added. There's a bunch of people. Limbo was very isolated. You had a spider. You had a couple of, every now and then, a couple of shadowy figures that would appear, but you were mainly isolated by yourself the whole game. This game, you are surrounded by people. There's people everywhere. But I just look forward to what unfolds, the story that unfolds. Playdead, is a great developer, and that's a game that we've been talking about. Of course, I wanted it to be part of the new Summer of Arcade, which we did not get announced, but at this point, just getting inside in a couple weeks is super, super exciting for me, and I think it's going to be one of the strongest games on the Xbox platform this year. So.
Yeah, it should be a really good game because, like you said, Limbo was absolutely fantastic, and they've been working on this game for quite a while. So hopefully they'll be able to, get some of that Limbo brilliance into this game as well. It should be fantastic. Yeah. As for me, I was thinking of quite a few games myself, like you, Chris, and I'm thinking, what game do I want to talk about? Just as far as presentation and trailers go, I'm going to say Dead Rising 4. With this game, you know exactly what you're getting. I mean, it's going to be goofy, over-the-top zombie killing. It's going to be hilarious. And just the way they presented it, because it's coming out in December. And so they gave it a Christmas theme.
Christmas.
So Christmas music was playing, and they had, like, the zombies all strung up in lights. And they had actual snow fall on the audience. Like, just all of that, I saw that.
It wasn't actual snow. But...
Well, I obviously. But you know what I mean.
They imported that from Canada, okay? That was real snow.
In LA in June.
Sure, they have big freezers up there. It's fine. Yeah. But, I mean, that game just looked really good. I will say I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it's getting a timed exclusive on Xbox One, a year-long timed exclusive, 90-day exclusive on Windows 10, which I'm kind of surprised because Dead Rising 3 was completely Xbox exclusive. The only Dead Rising that wasn't exclusive on Xbox was Dead Rising 2. So I'm kind of surprised that this is also going to PlayStation as well. I've always thought of Dead Rising as an Xbox brand, even though, I mean, it's, like I said, it's gone multi-platform before. In my mind, I still think of Dead Rising as an Xbox brand.
Yeah.
See, I've still got Dead Rising 3 sat on my shelf. It's like a day one edition. I've not touched it because I've heard it's very much a game that you need to play co-op, and none of my other mates who've got an Xbox One have got it. So it's there just kind of waiting for someone to pick it up. I've been hoping it was going to be like in the games with gold for a while now, so I can play it with one of my mates, but it's just not happened.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where I am. I've been wanting it to go games.
But you haven't got any friends. We've established this.
And plus, it's got horror elements in it. You're not going to like it, and it's not a walking simulator.
I don't think it's a horror game. Come on.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. It's just zombies and blood and
sure.
Yeah,
that's not horror. It's fun.
No.
Oh, by the way,
all right.
The Dead Rising movie that was free on Crackle came out last summer. They got a sequel coming out this June.
Wait, they had a movie?
Yeah, Dead Rising Watchtower. It was actually really enjoyable. Go watch it.
It's getting a sequel.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I think they're doing a sequel.
Yeah, the sequel comes out at the end of the month. Comes out in like 2 weeks, I think.
Before we move on, Kendra didn't actually give us her list. Andrew's number one is actually the number one for everyone. But it's worth saying that Eli's choice was that game from Volition. It's Agents of Mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
The thing from the Saints Row developer. So his number one, unfortunately, didn't even make the top 5. But he's played it, and he said it was his game of the show. He's astounded by it. So
well, and we'll plug. He wrote up a story on it. So if you guys don't know about it, definitely go to XboxEnthusiast.com and check it out. He actually shared some stuff that I was unaware of. I kind of turned off by the game initially, but it's almost set up like a hero shooter. He said there's like 12 different heroes, and when you go out on your missions, you kind of choose the ones you want to take. That makes it like 100% more something that I'm interested in. So yeah, I'm a lot more interested now having read his preview.
Cool.
But now we've built that up. What's on number one, James?
Sure. Well, okay, Chris, drum roll, please.
Oh, there's shocks in it.
What?
I'm just saying that because for those who don't know, Chris is holding his laptop outside, so you know.
It's 100 degrees.
Our number one game for Xbox Enthusiast for E3 2016.
Build it up. Pause for effect.
Is the
Recoil.
Recoil.
Now, I will
gosh.
say this is a game. Well, I know Chris has been hyped for this game forever. He's always had faith in this game. He's always been excited. I've been kind of on the fence about it because I'm like, I want to see more. Like, I thought it looked interesting last year. It's got great people working on it. But I must say, after this year, seeing that trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to play this game. Now that I've seen the full concept, like in motion, how it works, jump between the robots and everything, I'm like, this is a must-play game for me. This game is going to be really, really good. But Chris, before we get over to your love for the game, Steve, what about you? What are you excited for Recoil? What did you think of the trailer?
Okay, when I saw it last year, because it was just like a concept trailer last year, wasn't it? There was no gameplay or anything.
No, that's what I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I was really intrigued by the idea. It kind of reminded me of that. What was that game by the guys who did Heavenly Sword and Andy Serkis? It was like not Enchanted. It was like. I can't remember.
What was that called? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Where it had a guy and a girl, and the one guy's name was like Monkey or something, right?
Yeah. That's the
What
game.
was that called?
Oh,
that was
Enslaved.
Enslaved.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Not Enlightened. It kind of reminded me of that kind of vibe, but set in a desert. But
that game was amazing.
Yes,
it was.
Enslaved was really good.
Yeah, I loved that game. Where were we? Recoil, yes. Now I've actually seen the gameplay. It does look very cool. I'm slightly concerned that it's only $40 rather than $60, because that might mean it is quite a short game. But I am properly up for it, and I'm really hoping that there's a robot shark in it so that Chris freaks out.
Sure. Right. Well, actually, speaking of the $40, though, I mentioned to you guys before. I mean, with the $40 thing, Ratchet and Clank, the remake, I guess you would call it, was only $40. And while some people say, well, that was just a remake of another game, they still had to build it from the ground up. I mean, there's still all new assets, there's brand new everything.
Yeah, but they didn't have to create gameplay. They didn't have to create maps.
Well, no, but I mean, they made new areas, they made new cutscenes, they did. I mean,
and they didn't have to create characters. It was all done. They just had to rebuild it. Do you know what I mean? So that's a very different scenario.
Kind of, but I mean, it wasn't exactly, spot for spot remake though.
And also, Ratchet and Clank was really missing sharks.
And also, Ratchet and Clank was a PlayStation game, so that's enough of that.
I'm just making the comparison with the $40 thing.
So let's talk Recoil. First off, let's start negative, and I completely agree with Steve as far as the price goes. It doesn't make me worry about the game. It just I want to play this game so much, and I want to have a full experience. If this turns out to be like a 3 or a 4 hour game with little to no replayability, like I think I will ultimately be a little disappointed overall. I'd like to see something more along the lines of an 8 to 10 hour, full experience, and so hopefully that's what we get. But that's really the only negative. The game looks like exactly what I wanted it to be. So real quick, the important things that we learned is that you do have different color cores on the robot. So the cores are the orbs that you see. She pulls out. Jewel will pull out with her little grappling hook, or what Mac, the little dog, has kind of in his torso, the blue glowing orb. Those are called cores. And so we see red. We see red.
Core.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
No problem. I just wanted to explain that in case you didn't get that. I just wanted to let you know.
You've got to keep these things simple for Chris.
It literally means you can use the core again. Very nice. So we've seen red and blue. There's also been confirmation that there's yellow cores. But what happens is for Jewel, attached to the D-pad or assigned to the D-pad are different colored bullets that she'll be shooting. So if you're shooting at a blue cored robot, you need to have blue bullets, so on and so forth. And there will be times at the game where you are ambushed by blue and red and yellow robots. Between the
Well, I think we just lost
Chris. Oh no!
Oh, okay. Well, before
he's eaten by sharks.
Well, I mean, is there anything else you want to speak about on the Recoil with, like Chris was saying, to switch out the cores and the different colored bullets to attack different enemies?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's a bit kind of like, did you ever play that shoot 'em up, the Ikaruga, where you had to swap between black and white? And
no, I haven't. No.
Now that was kind of the opposite. You had to shoot black things with white bullets and white things with black bullets, and you kind of swapped around. And also, you could go through their bullets if you were the same color. It was an interesting thing, and it made it hard as hell, that game. But it could be a really fun game mechanic.
Cool. Well, I mean, and like I said, this game is one where once I saw it in motion, I'm like, this is something I absolutely have to play. It just looks like my kind of game. And so it should be a really interesting game. And I mean, that's reason why, even though it wasn't everybody's #1 game on their own personal list, adding everything together
was on everyone's list.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single person at Xbox Enthusiast is excited for Recoil for a good reason.
Yeah, Andrew played it, and when he first spoke to us about it, he was saying that he had issues with the camera. We were all a bit concerned, of kind of like, oh no, this game's not going to live up to the hype. But he went back and played it again, and as I said, it is his top choice for games that he's played. So it must just be one of those things where it takes you a while to get used to the camera. But I mean, there is kind of like a 3D action, 3D platformer kind of vibe to it. So the camera is quite an important thing, and it might just take a while to get used to moving it around.
Sure. And honestly, with it coming out, it comes out this August, so we'll absolutely be able to get our hands on it and get our review to you guys as soon as possible. It's definitely a game that a lot of us can't wait to get our hands on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sorry to say with Chris being gone, but this is our top 5 for Xbox Enthusiasts. Now, let us know, what was your top 5? What game do we leave out that you feel we absolutely should have had on this list? Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know in the comments down below. Definitely check that out. For the rest of Xbox Enthusiasts, make sure to check out xboxenthusiast.com. For the rest of our E3 coverage, you can also check out our YouTube page. We've got reviews of every conference, EA, Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Microsoft. So make sure to go check those out as well. As for our podcast, you can always find that on iTunes. We're also now on the Google Play Store as well as SoundCloud and the Microsoft MP3 Store. So pretty much everywhere under the sun, go ahead, find us, check us out. But until next time, from Chris, he says farewell. But until next time, guys, we are out.